law professor and devoted father of two, Dan Markell, was involved in a bitter custody battle with his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson. Wendy wanted to move with the kids from Tallahassee to South Florida to be closer to her mother, Donna, her father, Harvey, and her brother, Charlie. And after Dan Markell was gunned down in his driveway in 2014, that's exactly what she did. Charlie is now behind bars after being convicted of ordering Dan's killing. And in a shocking new development, Charlie and Wendy's mother, Donna Adelson, has been arrested and charged with orchestrating the murder for hire. Tonight, we take a look at where Donna is tonight and what is next in the case.
Donna is the overbearing matriarch who nags everyone to death about whatever it is that's currently on her. I call it the wheel. The wheel's turning all the time, right? And Wendy getting away from Dan Markell and moving to South Florida was number one on the wheel. Donna enlists the defendant to go in and fix it.
And in tonight's On the Docket, in Ohio, a father of three charged with an unthinkable crime, executing his three young sons in front of his wife and stepdaughter. Chad Doerman is being held on $20 million bond and is facing the death penalty. Today, the alleged killer dad was in court as his defense team argued over several motions.
Man they trust more than any other person on earth. Person they rely upon to keep them safe from harm. He was their world, he was their guardian, and he executed them in cold blood.
Then, on tonight's Tank Takes, a Florida man is arrested after leading police on a high-speed chase. When he was finally caught, police noticed a neck tattoo featuring the saying, "All gas, no brakes." So tonight, we're asking, should it have read, "All gas, no brains"? Get ready, this hour of closing arguments starts now. Good evening and welcome back to Closing Arguments. I'm Michael Ayala in tonight for Vinnie Politan. And we begin this hour with new details in the Donna Adelson case. Now, she's the mother of Charlie Adelson, who just 2 weeks ago was convicted for his role in the murder of Dan Markell. Markell was the ex-husband of Wendy Adelson, Donna's daughter and Charlie's sister. Authorities say Markell was the victim of a targeted hit orchestrated by the Adelsons as a result of a custody dispute. Then, just 1 week after Charlie's conviction, Donna was arrested and charged with the same crimes: first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation. Here's Leon County's State Attorney Jack Campbell when he first announced the arrest.
She was arrested last night in Miami International Airport.
And was she leaving the country?
Yes, we had information that she had booked a flight to Vietnam. The flight went from Miami to Dubai, and then there was a layover, and the rest of it was going to Vietnam. She was apprehended on the jetway getting on that plane.
And will she be extradited back to Leon County?
Sure. This doesn't actually require extradition because she's still in the state of Florida. That's one of the things when we found that she was leaving the country, extradition would have been an issue. We started talking to some of our federal partners about the complexities and how hard, depending on what country she ended up with. If she stayed in Dubai, how that would be. If she were to go to Vietnam, what would that be? If she went somewhere else? And that was when the decision was made that we needed to kind of expedite, because we don't have to extradite from Miami. She will be transported, though, from Miami to Tallahassee. That's really between the sheriffs. It's an administrative issue. Because of safety concerns, we don't tell even the prisoner or anyone else when we're transporting prisoners. And so at some point by law enforcement, it'll be between the sheriffs, Sheriff McNeil and the sheriff in Miami-Dade will decide when she'll be brought up here.
So where is Donna Adelson? As of today, Donna Adelson's records are no longer available in the Miami-Dade online jail system. This means she is either being transported to Leon County or has already arrived there. So what do we know? What we do know for sure is that Donna is expected in court tomorrow for a brief hearing. So that should tell you something. To get his thoughts on this new development, let's bring in our special guest with us, criminal defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, and the man who broke the news on Donna Adelson's arrest. Tim Jansen is with us. Tim, thank you so much for joining us on the program this evening. And I got to get your thoughts. I mean, it was some sleuthing by our reporters here that figured out, hey, she disappeared from the rolls over there. She's not quite over here. Where is she?
Well, you know, Michael, it's all security reasons why they don't tell people. What happens is they send deputies down there. They go down and they come back same day. 2 deputies. The same 2 deputies went down and got Meg Banawa and Charlie. I can tell you that Charlie's last meal that he ever had outside was McDonald's. So what we know, what I've been told, and we've checked through what's called Vine Link, is that she is no longer in the Miami-Dade jail. That they went for her this morning, and it's a 7-hour drive there and then a 7-hour drive back. There was some issues. Apparently, she's having some issues at the jail. So I would imagine she would get here around 10:30 or 11. The problem you have with booking is always a problem with booking. You got manpower. And so the first thing they'll do is they'll take her mugshot. Then they'll book her in. Now, her documents show in the system, but it doesn't show her right now. If she gets here around midnight, maybe 1 o'clock, she should be able to make the 11 o'clock first appearance tomorrow.
All right, so tell me what we expect tomorrow. And the other thing, my question is, you mentioned it's a 7-hour drive here, 7-hour to there and back. Will she be brought back, or is this permanent? Because normally if someone has an appearance in a court in Leon County, you bring them to Leon County, they appear in court. At this point, there's no reason to take her back, is there?
Oh, no, she won't go back. Once she gets to Tallahassee, Leon, she'll be here until the case is over. They were just holding her there. Leon had 15 days to come get her. If they didn't come get her in 15 days, the judge down there could have issued a bond. So they weren't going to take any chances. So my understanding through my sources, they went this morning. She's in transit now. She'll be here for the duration. She'll appear, if she makes first appearance on a video, they won't actually bring her into a courtroom. It'll be done in a video, and she'll appear before Judge Jones at 11 a.m.
All right, so here's my question. It's been nagging me since she was arrested. I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'll ask you. We were all wondering if she was being tailed all along. Were they watching her? Did they have someone assigned to her? Or we do know that there were some communications because of a jail call where she, I think, mentioned something about maybe leaving the jurisdiction or going out of the country, and that triggered it. Like, how did it come that they were so fortuitous to catch her at the moment she was ready to leave the country?
Well, unfortunately for her, and there's some issues with that phone call I'm hearing from some sources, that she may not have realized that the phone was still recording when she made those incriminating statements. But I can tell you from my understanding, once law enforcement heard the comments and those statements, she was put under 24-hour surveillance by law enforcement until they got the warrant to arrest her.
There you go. That's what I figured. That once she started saying those things, they couldn't allow her to slip through their fingers. Now, I know you were very much into Charlie Adelson's trial and listened to what was going on there. And I said all through that trial that I was surprised, based on what I was hearing, why he was even before Donna in terms of coming before the court. Now, I know they had to get that Dolce Vita tapes together, and that's what sort of opened the door for the prosecution, and that's part of the reason it took so long. It wasn't clear enough for them. But I thought they had more than enough evidence for Donna, even before Charlie, as she was sort of the head, and that's where they put her even in closing arguments. So your thoughts on why she's last on the list?
I think, Michael, if you look at the way they wanted to do it chronologically, she was clearly the impetus, I believe, for it. She got her son to do it, but they needed to tie Sigfredo and Rivera to the Adelsons. So they had to go through Meg Banawa. Who did Meg Banawa contact? She never contacted Donna. She contacted Charlie. So they went that natural route. And of course, Meg Banawa's trial, we didn't get all these tape recordings that we heard at Charlie's, which clearly implicated Donna. And now her flight, you know, the consciousness of guilt evidence will be admitted in her trial, which is a horrible thing for a defendant. You're basically inferring to that jury, you're guilty because you took off. And that judge is going to give that instruction, and it's not a good one.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, Tim Jansen, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. Really appreciate the info. We'll see you again real soon, I am sure. Right now, I want to bring in tonight's think tank. Joining us in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Also joining us in Long Island this evening, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crosland, and in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. Great to see you all. Thanks again for joining me tonight on the program. And I'll begin with you, Al. She's now in Leon County. The process is going to start against her. And as I said to Tim, the evidence is strong. And I can tell you, when I was listening to the closing arguments in Charlie's case, I said, wow, this could be a closing argument against Donna.
Yeah, it very much could. But, you know, when you get yourself in a jam, you head down yonder to Vietnam. And that's what she did, which is not a very good move under those circumstances. And especially a one-way ticket. I mean, just be smart enough to buy a two-way ticket so you could say, listen, no, I was coming back. I mean, you know, Vietnam is the vacation capital of November. And say, but of course I was coming back. Of course, not smart enough to do that. And now she's, like I said, in a jam. And it's all because she wanted to go to Vietnam.
Yeah, well, Vietnam, I'm not even sure that was the best place to go. They have on occasion allowed for extradition. But Jennifer, you know, when you talk about not being so smart, once again, we see a case broken by jailhouse phone calls. I mean, you're going to say these types of things on a phone call to the jailhouse to your son. It's almost as if you want to be caught.
I don't know if she wanted to be caught, but if you look at the whole situation, Michael, I mean, this case is just, it's unbelievable. You can't believe that people would go this far. And look, I do this type of work every day, custody work. I see people at their worst in terms of, you know, being involved and trying to get their children and grandparents getting involved in these situations, like, you know, in this matter. But boy, these people, they really took it way too far and got so carried away. I mean, think about the tragedy that occurred. These children have no one now. You know, the family's broken up. And did they really think that they were going to get away with it? I mean, it's just astounding that they believe that somehow this was the way to resolve the matter. So not surprised, not smart all along. So not surprised at the jailhouse phone calls, just another part of this crazy case.
I agree. I think it all goes along with the arrogance of thinking that you could even do something like this. I mean, that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. All right, Darnell, when we talk about the kids, or they still have someone, right? They have Wendy, they have Harvey, their grandfather, but will they have them for long? Let's begin with Wendy. You think Wendy's in trouble here? Now, I question, she from the very beginning, from the probable cause affidavit, basically talks about her family and some of the reasons why she suspects them when they asked her, who do you suspect might have done this? Would she have done that if she knew and was involved in some way?
You know, it's hard to tell. And it's funny you mention that because if she saw the writing on the wall and she was saying, hey, I want to distance myself from the people who might be culpable, and she started to spill it out, it's two things. One, either she was just overly truthful, and that's the way she is, or two, she was, again, trying to distance herself. In terms of the mother in Vietnam, you know, I've been to Vietnam. I tell people I've been to Nam. And so I went over there, I toured the whole place. Like, you're right, they do have extradition, and they have used it on occasion. So I'm not sure if why she was running there. But the point is, if, like, the mother of these children saw the writing on the wall, if she saw, and she wasn't so cocky, and she knew that there was a chance that her son can get convicted, she should have left a long time ago. But a lot of times, families and friends crowd courtrooms to so-called give support. But if she knew and she wasn't so cocky that she was involved, she had dirty hands, she should have left, like Al said, got a two-way ticket and left a long time ago. But they thought they were so strong that they were going to just have so much money and power they can walk out, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have to agree that that would have to have been their thinking. Al, I got to ask you, because when I look at the evidence just generally against Donna at this point, we got the flurry of phone calls on the day of the murder. We have the checks that she wrote in her handwriting to Katie McBanowa, which were going on for quite a while. She had to have asked, what is this about? And then when she was confronted and they did the bumps on her and cops were after her, she immediately then begins to contact Charlie, speaking in code, various things. And I'll tell you this, Al, from your experience, you tell me, when the police put this much time, effort, and money into an investigation, they're gonna get their people. Normally I say they get their man, but here they're gonna get their people.
No doubt about it. But, you know, you talk about a situation that was kind of a screwed up plan from the beginning. You know, when you start paying money off in checks and start doing things along those lines, and you create a paper trail, I mean, you know, what are you thinking? I mean, you know, speaking in code is not good if you're writing checks for the person who's, you know, going to orchestrate the murder. So it's very, very weird to me that this family, as smart as they pretend to be, just how dumb they were with regards to this. And, you know, I agree, you know, with Darnell that if, you know, Donna saw the writing on the wall, she should have been off to Vietnam, you know, months and months ago, as soon as this happened, and getting lost in like Hanoi and not being ever seen ever again. Because there is just so much evidence in this case. And the way that the prosecution has put this case together is just ingenious, working like a puzzle, starting with one level to the next level to the next level. And whether or not, you know, it goes any further than this is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I could not agree more, Al. I think the way this Charlie's case was tried, the way they went through Kathy, and they got him, and now they're going after Donna, it's really just been a masterful prosecution. All right, stand by, folks. We do have to squeeze in a quick break now, but please don't go anywhere. The Think Tank is, of course, staying with us all hour, and coming up next. 8 Las Vegas teens have been arrested on suspicion of murder in the beating death of a classmate. The brutal attack was caught on cell phone video and shared on social media. Now, some of the teen suspects are being charged as adults and are now headed to court.
A former police officer charged in the chokehold death of his friend.
His conduct was not only criminally reckless, but it showed utter disregard for life.
Mr. Mattioli acted reasonably, and he acted appropriately.
I knew that as soon as he got back up, there was going to be more punches thrown.
You'll see this dramatic trial unfold right here on Court TV.
I know what I did. I know I wasn't choking him.
The deadly cop chokehold trial. Trial coverage weekday mornings, 8/7 Central on Court TV.
Decorative wall plates. The perfect upgrade to any room. Your living room isn't finished until it's Amarel finished. Shop your style.
How many dragons have you found in Dragon City? I've been finding dragons everywhere. Sometimes you'll find them where you least expect them. If you're not careful, you'll miss them. See what I mean? There's nothing sweeter than completing your collection. And if you're paying attention, you'll find dragons everywhere. Download Dragon City and start your collection today.
The fastest gun in the West.
That's right.
Is a magnet for trouble.
Now why'd you have to show up?
Rory Calhoun is the Texan.
Scared?
Every Thursday night on Grid Extra.
The tenets of blue-collar etiquette are as follows.
We need stink bait.
Oh, God. If you've ever worn a tube top to a funeral home, you might be a redneck. I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
When's your birthday?
February 17th. What year is your birthday? Every year.
The blue-collar comedy triple feature. Friday night starting at 8/7 Central on Laugh.
Let the games begin.
Let's get some more. Oh, okay.
You know I got to get my dance on.
Hey, family. I'm coming back to this show. Isn't this just fabulous?
Free Movie Channel has something for everyone. Whether you're looking for a laugh, some tears, chilling scares, or something for the whole family, Free Movie Channel has got you covered. With no subscription or rental fees, Free Movie Channel is the quick and easy choice for first-run films, as well as classic movies that you can watch wherever you want, whenever you need a break. It's always free and it's always fun. Check out Free Movie Channel today and find your new favorite movie.
These are the cases that captivated the world.
Couldn't keep my life straight.
That demanded our attention.
They were killed by their own children.
That challenged the legal system and ourselves.
How in the world can a mother wait 30 days before reporting her child missing?
These are the trials that became legendary.
Jeffrey!
And now you can relive them all in one place. Court TV, Legendary Trials. Go to courttv.com/legendary trials to find out how to watch.
Watch live TV for free. Meet Tablo. Tablo lets you access over 70 free channels, including shows, news, and live sports for free. With Tablo, you can record, pause, and replay, and watch on any device anywhere in your home. With 0 monthly fees, subscriptions, or contracts. Order a Tablo Total System with a Tablo and TV antenna and pay just $99.95. Order now at tablotv.com.
Take a look at your screen. These are two teenage suspects police are trying to identify in connection with a horrific crime out of Nevada. Now, in addition to those two unknown suspects, 8 other teenagers have been charged with murder after they all allegedly beat one of their classmates to death in an alleyway by the high school. Scripps News Las Vegas has the story and some insight on the legal intricacies of charging minors with murder.
A murder case as shocking as it is tragic. 8 teenagers accused of attacking and killing another teen in a back alley.
All subjects that were arrested in this incident range from the age of 13 to 17. All are juveniles, and all were booked into the Clark County Juvenile Hall on charges of murder.
4 of the suspects are 16 or older, and when it comes to murder, are automatically charged as adults in Nevada, while the other 4 teens are younger, and that means they face a different legal process at the start. Former Clark County District Attorney David Roger.
Juveniles who are less than 16 at the time of the murder have to go through a certification process, and so they're booked into juvenile court, and then the juvenile judge holds a hearing to determine whether to send it to adult court or keep it down in juvenile court.
Channel 13 has learned that a hearing to decide that has been scheduled for next month. It's not the first time this year that Las Vegas juveniles have been accused in a high-profile murder case. Last month, 2 teens were indicted and charged as adults after allegedly using a stolen car in a crime spree that included targeting and fatally running over a bicyclist.
When a tragedy like this happens...
Eve Hannon, a professor at UNLV's Boyd School of Law, says charging young people as adults is likely not the best move.
Especially in murder cases, 13 and up can, in some instances, be tried as adults. However, we have at this point decades now of brain science, which shows that children's frontal lobes are simply not developed like adults.
But the trial judge...
Roger says he understands there's debate on how to charge those under 18, but also cautioned that charges could eventually be added or altered.
It could be second-degree murder. It could be manslaughter.
It's also possible that some of the teens could be charged separately, depending on how their attorneys decide to proceed in their defense.
In the end, we have to trust that the criminal justice system will deal with everybody appropriately.
And on Friday, the 4 teens who were automatically charged as adults made their first appearances in court. Scripps News Las Vegas was there.
All 3 defendants will remain in custody at their current bail setting until the next court date. The court finds good cause to continue this hearing.
In 2 separate hearings, the 4 teens accused in the deadly beating of the Rancho High School schoolmate Jonathan Lewis appeared in court Friday. Bieber Dontrell, Damien Hernandez, and Gianni Robinson appeared together, all handcuffed at the morning hearing, while the third, Travian Randolph, appeared at an afternoon hearing because of a court scheduling conflict. Clark County Justice Court Judge Daniel Westmeyer ordered the teens to remain in jail without bail until their next court hearing on Tuesday. The teens are facing 1 charge of murder each in the adult system. He also ruled the teens would be tried together.
The court finds good cause to continue this hearing. Based on the nature of these charges.
The group's initial appearance comes after 8 teens were arrested this week in connection with the deadly beating of Lewis in an alleyway near Rancho High School. Investigators say the fight began over a pair of stolen headphones and a vape pen and was recorded on a video uploaded to social media. The video helped Metro Police track down 8 of the 10 suspects involved in the fatal attack. However, 2 remain at large, and police are actively searching for the 2 suspects. Investigators releasing their pictures seeking the public's help in finding them. A growing makeshift memorial now sits in the alleyway where Lewis was attacked. An outpouring of love, despair, and anger filled what was a tragic crime scene. Family members of the 4 teens were in court Friday but declined to speak to media.
All right, let's bring back in the think tank. Still with us, criminal defense attorney Al Wunsch III, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crosland, and family law attorney Jennifer Brandon. Darnell, I'll start with you. Stolen headphones and I guess a vape pen. This is what results in 8 teens, possibly 10, being charged with murder. Let's start there. Give me your thoughts.
It's hard to even respond. These are very, very, very sad cases. Here in Connecticut, I'm in the Hamptons tonight, but I'm practicing Connecticut and New York as well. I'm here for a trial actually tomorrow. But in Connecticut, we call these SJO, serious juvenile offenses. And when they happen, in days before, times before, they would automatically be transferred to adult court. Now they're entitled to a hearing. So those are the legal gymnastics. But when you remove all of that, you have kids who are acting in this herd mentality, and they're following other kids. No one's thinking, and someone dies. And that's the saddest thing that you're ever going to have to grapple with. And then they start talking about, like the young lady who you had in the bump that was talking about frontal lobes not being developed. The seminal case here is Miller versus Alabama, where the Supreme Court found that to sentence a child over 12 years is tantamount to life and is cruel and unusual punishment because kids change in their mentalities and they grow over time to where they're different people. And so you have to grapple with whether, in fact, these kids should be punished for this gruesome death and versus who they really are and all the sciences behind it. But it's hard. It's never going to be easy. And I can't even as a defense attorney tell you that it doesn't break my heart to hear this, even though I'd have to work with the case if it was mine.
Yeah, difficult decisions to be made. And just to be clear, if you're 16 and up, you don't get the opportunity of a hearing. You are automatically charged an adult. It's if you're under 16 that you get the opportunity for a hearing. So, Al, let me ask you, here's what the hearing basically boils down to. The court has to ask, is it in the public interest? And it's a clear and convincingly require transfer to the adult system. The court considers the nature and seriousness of the offense, persistency and seriousness of past offenses, age, maturity, family history. So your thoughts on this? I like it only because it allows the court to deal with it on an individual basis, looking at each individual's involvement and also their backgrounds.
It does. It's a very well thought out recipe, okay, that gets applied with regards to this case when you're taking a look at these children who are murders another child for a pair of earphones and a vape pen, which is probably maybe $100 total, if that. It's a horrific, this is just, I mean, it's ghastly to think that they beat a child to death and then they videotaped it and it went viral. What does that tell us? I mean, this is just absolutely ghastly.
Yeah,
that we do that. I mean, you know, I've been in enough, you know, fights in high school because, you know, you steal the goalposts of your local you know, rival in high school and stuff like that, and you get into a little action. Beating someone to death for a vape pen and headphones is just, it's frightening to me. And these 16-year-olds, and I understand, you know, what the Hamptons wonder down there, Darnell, or what I like to call the not so great Gatsby, was saying about the fact that these, you know, young kids, you know, it is cruel and unusual, and that, you know, someone at the age of 12, you're going into a life sentence and things along those lines. They're not developed, they're not mature, but this is just really going beyond the pale.
Yeah, and again, you know, it's about deterrent. I mean, is this what we need to deter teens from doing this, Jennifer? I've got to ask you, Is this in fact a murder case? I mean, you've got, I believe it was 10 to 15 teens involved. They're looking for a couple more. They're only getting 10, but I believe there were even more involved. And again, I don't know why 15 decided to jump this one young man for whatever reason. Is it possible that some of the younger ones could find themselves in a position where they're charged with something less? Because if they are not charged with murder, anything less than murder or attempted murder, they stay in juvenile court. That would be one way to approach it. I would approach it as a criminal defense attorney.
I guess you have to see, Michael, the involvement of these teens. Were they all in there kicking and beating and stomping on this boy that was killed? I mean, it sounds like it was horrific. I mean, nobody stopped. Nobody, as Darnell pointed out, nobody said, hey, enough. It sounds like they just joined in and herd mentality. I agree. And they all just got involved. But we have to see what was the level of involvement. Were they all, right there in it? Were some standing by the sidelines? So I think that's what we'll see. Maybe some of the younger ones weren't quite as involved, and maybe you don't have the same level of culpability as some of the others. But nonetheless, 10 kids on one, it's horrible. Horrible and a horrible ending for all of them, really.
Absolutely. Exactly. I mean, it's the victim. I feel awful for him, but all those teens, the herd mentality, all of that, it's just mind-boggling. All right, stand by, folks. That's all we have time for in this particular segment, but coming up next. An Ohio father charged with the execution-style murders of his 3 little boys. Chad Dorman appeared in court today. We break down the motions his defense team has filed in the case.
I was awakened by my brother screaming.
Pounding on the door, bang, bang, bang.
People don't realize human beings like that can exist in the world.
He said that we'd seen his face and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
They were not gonna let me go easily.
You better fight and you better get out of here.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
I Survived, tonight at 10/9 Central on Court TV.
Decorative wall plates. The perfect upgrade to any room. Your bathroom isn't finished until it's Amarel finished. Shop your style.
How many dragons have you found in Dragon City? I've been finding dragons everywhere. Sometimes you'll find them where you least expect them. If you're not careful, you'll miss them. See what I mean? There's nothing sweeter than completing your collection. And if you're paying attention, you'll find dragons everywhere. Download Dragon City and start your collection today.
Free Movie Channel has something for everyone. Whether you're looking for a laugh, some tears, chilling scares, or something for the whole family, Free Movie Channel has got you covered. With no subscription or rental fees, Free Movie Channel is the quick and easy choice for first-run films, as well as classic movies that you can watch wherever you want, whenever you need a break. It's always free and it's always fun. Check out Free Movie Channel today and find your new favorite movie.
Let the games begin.
Let's get some more. Oh, okay.
I got to get my dance on.
Hey, family. I'm coming back to this show. This is just fabulous.
The fastest gun in the West.
That's right.
Is a magnet for trouble.
Now, why'd you have to show up?
Rory Calhoun is the Texan.
Scared?
Every Thursday night on Grid Extra.
Watch live TV for free. Meet Tablo. Tablo lets you access over 70 free channels, including shows, news, and live sports for free. With Tablo, you can record, pause, and replay, and watch on any device anywhere in your home. With 0 monthly fees, subscriptions, or contracts. Order a Tablo Total System with a Tablo and TV antenna and pay just $99.95. Order now at tablotv.com.
The tenets of blue-collar etiquette are as follows.
We need stink mate.
Oh, God. If you've ever worn a tube top to a funeral home, you might be a redneck. I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
When's your birthday?
February 17th.
What year is your birthday?
Every year.
The blue-collar comedy triple feature. Friday night starting at 8, 7 Central on Laugh.
Let the games begin.
Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
Now you talking like you got some sense.
Let's get some order. Oh, okay.
Light it up, baby. Sorry I'm late. Looking this good doesn't happen by accident.
There are people like us that want to reach out to you and send you that love.
Hey, family!
I got to get my dance on.
I'm coming back to this show. Isn't this just fabulous?
Roll.
You felt like he was just angry, generally speaking.
He was every day. Heard him. There wasn't a day he didn't yell at his wife and kids out there.
What would he yell?
All kinds of shit. He was just angry. He knew what he was doing. He planned it. It was premeditated. He shouldn't have a bomb. He should never see daylight again, ever in his life. And I think they should execute him the same way the same way he did his sons is the way he needs to go out.
And they may. He is facing the death penalty. That was Chad Doberman's former neighbor. Doberman is charged with one of the most horrendous crimes that we've really covered here at Court TV. The alleged planned execution-style murder of his 3 sons, ages 3, 4, and 7 years old. Let's take a look at some of the body cam footage from when Doberman was arrested by police. It may be hard to fathom because he's so calm. But the video that we are about to show you is from just moments after the alleged murder spree.
What are you doing, man?
Hey, are you copying all this?
Can I roll over? I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. You got anything on you? No, I ain't got nothing, man. Phone, that's it. I ain't mad. I ain't nothing. Just make sure that dog don't come out. I don't think he'll bite you. Just don't reach for him and try to grab him and pet him. All right. He won't bite you. What's going on, man? Nothing. Can I stand up? It's kind of uncomfortable. I'm gonna get you here in a second. I ain't running away. You can do whatever you want.
Doberman was in court today for a motions hearing ahead of his trial, which is set to begin July of next year. And it's important to note, he is facing the death penalty, which has become a rather complicated issue in Ohio. Scripps News Cincinnati breaks it down for us.
Death penalty cases are different than any other case that you will find in Ohio. Now, it starts normal enough with a jury trial. If you are convicted there, that's where it begins to be unique, because then the jury is asked whether you deserve the death penalty or not. If they say yes, a judge still has to sign off on it. If he says no, you get life in prison instead. But in today's system, even if you get through all of this, it's not clear whether you'd actually be executed at the end of it. Chad Doberman faces the death penalty for executing his 3 boys, 7-year-old Clayton, 4-year-old Hunter, and 3-year-old Chase.
He ripped the child from the mother's arms, put a bullet in his head.
If convicted and sentenced, Doberman would go to death row. In March, Attorney General Dave Yost called the system broken, as no inmate had been executed since 2018.
I mean, it's still in full effect, and it's still the law in Ohio.
Mark Crumbine has defended capital murder cases for decades and acknowledges the current system has significant issues. Lethal injection, drug shortages, and political opposition has slowed the process.
There could be another governor in the near future that might say, hey, let's speed it up. New drugs that cause people to die that are more accessible, some of the problems could end.
Both Governor Mike DeWine and Yost called on the legislature to act. Is there any legislative fix in your eyes?
Well, there probably are some legislative fix. They could, but there again, there's a lot of division. The root of it is there are so many people that are strongly against it and so many people that are strongly for it.
When asked about the delay of executions in Ohio, Tekulve promised to forge ahead.
Let the facts speak for themselves. He slaughtered his 3 children in the most brutal fashion you could imagine.
Now, I've reached out to both the AG's and the governor's office to see if they have a comment. Yost was not available. DeWine's office did not respond. Sean Delancey, WCPO 9 News.
And as we look ahead, Chad Doberman's capital murder trial is set to begin on July 8th of next year. All right, let's bring back in the tank. Al 1 to the 3rd. Darnell Crosland, and Jennifer Brandt are still with us. And Darnell, I'll start with you. Not all guilty pleas, not guilty pleas are alike. You pled not guilty in this case, but got a confession. And the story is pretty much he planned this thing. He executed them. The wife tried to stop him. And so if you want to say you were somewhere else and she tried to stop him, he got rid of her, not killed her, but got her out of the way, continued the killing. Why a not guilty plea in this case? What's the thinking here?
Yeah, so not guilty pleas pro forma. So you're always going to plead not guilty because you can't work it all out in the first moment. So you plead pro forma not guilty, and then your lawyers could either do a change of plea to guilty by reason of mental insanity if that bears out, or whatever other reasons come out. Also, it gives you a chance to look at the discovery and not have a sentencing. Once you plead guilty, you're staring down the barrel of a sentencing. But you plead not guilty, and you can work things out. You can see if you can get it down to manslaughter. You can negotiate the pleas. A lot of things there. But in terms of the jury here, most places have to have what they call a death penalty certified jury, which means if the juries can't come back with a death verdict, they can't be on the veneer person cannot be on the jury. So if they're death certified, then they go to the second step, and the judge has to find that it's in best, it's in the court's best interest to certify or to grant the death. So there's different layers to it.
All right, so speaking of that jury, Jennifer Brandt, cases like this, you get tons of paperwork, tons of motions. There's a bunch here that involve, or the ones they were listening to today or entertaining today, involve the jury. One of them, they want the jury pool, this is the defense now, Jennifer, to include convicted felons who have served their sentences. That's a new one on me. Maybe they think they can curry some favor there. I don't know, but what are your thoughts?
I think that's exactly right. I think that they might be, someone like that might be more sympathetic to him. I don't think anyone can understand this crime and understand what happened, but maybe they would, have some sympathy. Maybe somebody he could possibly relate to. We don't know what his story is going to be. He did plead not guilty, so there's some kind of defense that he's going to put up, and we don't know what that might be, but I guess he's looking for people that will be more sympathetic, because most people would not in this situation be very sympathetic for him.
Going to be hard-pressed to find someone to be sympathetic to him. Al, what's interesting is there's been this trend in the defense bar to really start taking control of language in court. One of the motions in this case says they want to prohibit the court or anyone involved in the case from using the phrase guilty phase or guilt phase. We hear that all the time in these types of cases. You get the guilt phase, the punishment phase. They feel that's just too suggestive. I think it's an interesting argument.
Well, that is an interesting argument. I mean, it's certainly a better argument than trying to get like Holocaust perpetrators on your jury. I mean, how absurd is that? How do you have somebody on the jury that has been convicted of a crime and that served their sentence? I don't even think they're allowed to be on jury duty, let alone sitting in a jury panel. Okay, so first of all, that's bizarre. But I do agree that suggestive terms can be manipulative, and that language is very, very. It can work to your advantage or your disadvantage. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I don't think that that's a terrible thing. But convicted felons that have served their term on my jury, as I said, I mean, why don't we just put Holocaust perpetrators and let's go with dictators that got away with it, and those are the guys that we would want to have on the jury, and then there'll never be a guilty conviction.
Darnell, convicted felons, they're people too. Should they not have the right to serve on a jury?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I'm very much into the whole second chance and criminal justice reform. A lot of states are now giving you automatic exoneration upon your plea. In Connecticut, we hand you a pamphlet right there as you plead, and 5 years from a felony and 3 years from a misdemeanor after your probation is over, you can be restored. And even in New York, they give you what they call a relief from civil disability. Right. So yes, we can't be hypocrites. If people have served their time, they should be able to come back and matriculate into society. And by the way, it's guilt or innocence phase, and then it's the punishment phase. So they're bifurcated. So so it depends on what state you're in. You shouldn't have a problem. They say guilt or innocence stage is one part, and then punishment is another part. And they tell the juries you should not be concerned about punishment. Only render your verdict here. And the court normally deals with sentencing.
All right, fair enough. And I can tell you, if you let the convicted felons into that jury room, it should make for some interesting deliberations. All right, stand by, guys. Time for a break. And coming up. Then, on tonight's Tank Takes, a Florida man is arrested after leading police on a high-speed chase. When he was finally caught, police noticed a neck tattoo featuring the saying, "All gas, no brakes." So tonight, we're asking, should it have read, "All gas, no brains"?
There was pounding on the door. Bang, bang, bang.
He said that we'd seen his face and there was no way that he could ever let us go.
I survived because I'm a born fighter.
I Survived. Next on Court TV.
I've worked hard all my life. I learned the secret to success is speaking in your authentic voice. And I bring that lesson to my show every morning.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central. Only on Court TV.
Dreaming of changing the world is one thing. Building the community to actually do it, that's real. Sometimes we need to come together to elevate higher. Introducing Bounce Community, a new bond between Bounce and you. Together we celebrate, engage, and empower. Together through partnership outreach, each month we'll spotlight people making impactful change, giving back, spreading love, elevating the community. Bounce Community. To get started, go to bouncetv.com/community.
The tenets of blue-collar etiquette are as follows.
We need stink paint.
Oh, God. If you've ever worn a tube top to a funeral home, you might be a redneck. I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
When's your birthday?
February 17th.
What year is your birthday?
Every year.
The Blue Collar Comedy Triple Feature. Friday night starting at 8, 7 Central on Laugh.
The fastest gun in the West.
That's right.
Is a magnet for trouble.
Now why'd you have to show up?
Rory Calhoun is the Texan.
Scared?
Every Thursday night on Grid Extra.
You got us banned from being room parents? I have never been more in love with you.
That's incredible! No, it's genius! I know! Oh, forget it. You'll never understand.
That's gotta hurt, huh?
Alf, what are you doing here?
I used to be a phenomenon. Now I'm reduced to a what are you doing here?
You keep me coming back for more.
I've worked hard all my life. I've gone from being a local reporter to becoming a law student to then even going on to teach other lawyers, all before I came to Court TV. As a journalist, lawyer, and teacher, I learned the secret to success is speaking in your authentic voice. And I bring that lesson to my show, Opening Statements, every morning on Court TV.
Opening Statements with Julie Grant. Weekday mornings at 8, 7 Central. Only on Court TV.
Let the games begin. Ooh, that sounds wonderful.
Now, you're talking like you got some sense.
Let's get some order. Oh, okay.
Light it up, baby.
Sorry I'm late. Looking this good doesn't happen by accident.
There are people like us that want to reach out to you and send you that love.
Hey, family!
I got to get my dance on.
I'm coming back to this show. Isn't this just fabulous?
Watch live TV for free. Meet Tablo. Tablo lets you access over 70 free channels, including shows, news, and live sports for free. With Tablo, you can record, pause, and replay, and watch on any device anywhere in your home. With 0 monthly fees, subscriptions, or contracts. Order a Tablo Total System with a Tablo and TV antenna and pay just $99.95. Order now at tablotv.com.
Welcome back to Closing Arguments. It's time for tonight's Tank Takes, where we take stories that fall a little bit off the beaten path of crime and justice and get our experts to weigh in on them. Al Wunsch, Darnell Crosland, and Jennifer Brandt are still with us. Are you guys ready? All right.
Go.
Yeah, all right. We're going to kick things off with a story we have titled All Gas, No Brakes. A Florida man was in a high-speed chase with police after a string of car burglaries. Now, during the chase, Tim Hoog was speeding through a residential neighborhood in an effort to evade police. So let's take a look and see what happens. All right, so obviously he was apprehended. And in his mugshot, we can see his wonderful body art in the form of a neck tattoo that reads, "All gas, no brakes." So the question I'm wondering tonight is, should it have said, or should it have read, "All gas, no brains" instead? All right, let me start with you, Al. What do you think?
Well, first of all, if I walk into an elevator and I see a guy with a tattoo that says all gas and no brakes, I'm getting out of that elevator because it's plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Get this Mino, some Beano.
Play on words.
Not going to happen.
So you're saying gas has many different meanings?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't? I'm sorry.
Of course it does. Jennifer, your thoughts? All gas, no brains? I mean...
It's hard to follow that, Michael. It's hard to follow that.
Who makes a choice, first of all, Jennifer, to do that to their face? You pretty much have set yourself up pretty much for the rest of your life.
That's right. He lived by that motto, as you can see. All gas and no brakes and no brains. And he acted upon it. So I think it was an appropriate tattoo for him.
Yeah, I have to agree. All right, let's go to our second story. This is a Tennessee man. He was driving children around in a train during a Christmas tractor parade when he was arrested for a DUI, which is why we're calling this one Bad Santa. Thanks to WATE Knoxville, we have an image of the little train that was being dragged around. Now, Henry Mead was spotted looking uneasy on his feet, causing police to stop him and conduct a field sobriety test. After he failed, authorities found, guess what? Meth, narcotics, and a syringe on his person. So the question we're asking tonight, should he be on his own naughty list? Darnell, you know, I mean, gifts, toys, trinkets for the kids. No, we found meth and other paraphernalia.
Well, he definitely was no Rudolph, and so he should definitely be on the naughty list. His cousin, Al Wunsch, and the other guy with the tattoos had no brakes, no brains, no hood, no glass, no front windshield, and now he should be on that list that have no drugs around those children. Al, control your cousins.
Uh-oh. Al, listen.
Driving that train, high on cocaine. Okay, I mean, isn't that a Christmas song? I mean, let's take a look at some of the other Christmas songs that I have out there. Whatever, Rudolph. How did Rudolph get all so, like, gutsy and everything else? What do you think he took before he started getting so, you know,
God, no.
brave? What about Frosty?
You would not blaspheme Rudolph.
What's in that corn cob pipe? What's in that corn cob pipe there, Frosty? And let's go. We three kings, frankincense and myrrh.
Never knew quite what those were.
I rest my case.
Jennifer, I gotta say though that's hilarious, but to be more serious, to do this on this day at a parade with kids and a train in the back, I mean, I say throw the book at the guy.
I agree. And how did they hire this guy to begin with? I mean, did anyone do any checks on him? That's another whole issue. So, yeah, bad move. Yeah. Bad move, bad Santa.
Yeah, small town parade. Anyway, our final story of the night we have titled Better Late Than Never. In St. Paul, Minnesota, a book that was more than a century overdue has finally been returned to its library. The book was about famous composers, and it was recently discovered while a local was sorting through a relative's belongings. Now, originally rented in 1919, the book has finally been returned 104 years later. But before we get to the question, after reading this story, we couldn't help but be reminded of this episode from the legendary NBC TV show, Seinfeld. Let's watch.
took this book out in 1971.
Yes, and I returned it in 1971.
Yeah, 71. That was my first year on the job. Bad year for libraries. Bad year for America. Hippies burning library cards. Abby Hoffman telling everybody to steal books. I don't judge a man by the length of his hair or the kind of music he listens to. Rock was never my bag. But you put on a pair of shoes when you walk into the New York Public Library, fella.
Look, Mr. Bookman, I returned that book. I remember it very specifically.
So the question I'm wondering tonight, was this a bad crime or actually a good deed? Jennifer.
I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. I think it's an artifact now that they found this book. And so I think it was a good deed. Maybe a little bit of a bad crime, but that's forgiven after all this time.
Yeah, and I think my wife is watching, and you know, there was a book recently. We found it around the house. We finally got back. So I just want to say that. Anyway, thanks to Al Wunsch III, Darnell Crosland, and Jennifer Brandt for joining me tonight. Always a real pleasure to have you guys on the show. Thank you so much.
Comment on this one?
All right. Before we go tonight, though, I want you guys to please take a look at your screen. This is my